Hi, in this video we are going to see how to create a custom VPC. Earlier in the earlier video, I hope you all completed the first practical exercise, that is Cloud Watch Billing Alarm and Identity Access Management. And in this video we are going to see how to create a custom VPC and how to use that VPC to create your own machines, that like EC2 machines or any resources on the cloud. You can use that VPC, which we will see after this exercise. We will create a virtual machine from EC2 service, and while creating the virtual machine we will use the VPC which we created here, right? So first of all, before logging into um, the AWS console, I would like to give you an outline on VPC. So some basics you need to understand regarding VPC. So see, what is a virtual private cloud? VPC, virtual private cloud. It is like a logically isolated network uh, where you can create your resources which you want to use in the cloud, um, like databases, VMs, containers. Okay, all these things you can create, but for creating that you need a place, right? You need a place which is owned by you, that means, or which is created especially for you. So if I want to do create some resources, uh, I can use this VPC for creating the resources. And see, suppose think this is a network. So first of all I want you to understand, like, uh, what do you mean by VPC? I want you to understand, like, it is equivalent to network. VPC, I want you to understand it as a network. So first I want to create a network where in that network I can create my resources. Okay, resources means like VMs from EC2, databases, containers. So all these things I can create, where if I have a network which was created for me, I can treat this outline as a VPC, which means network. So which I want you to understand that as IP addresses. So what do you mean by an IP address? A network is a group of computers which are connected together. Connected together means each computer uh, will have an IP address assigned to it. So similarly, a network uh, can be can be seen a big network or a small network. It can be decided by the number of IP addresses we can assign to the devices in the network. It depends. If I have huge amount of IP addresses, that can be called as a big network where a lot of devices can be connected together. IP addresses, if they are very less amount of IP address, that can be treated as a small network. So I'm saying you to understand that VPC means a network which was created for you, especially for you, on the cloud, and that's why it is called as virtually private cloud. Private cloud. PC means private cloud, created for you. Your own resources can be created here, and they can be assigned some addresses. So I want you to treat this whole outline as a big network which was created for you. So generally, while creating the IP addresses, I need to give the size of that particular VPC. How many IP addresses, with how many IP addresses I want to create my VPC network. Suppose I'll take 65,536 IP addresses. With this I want to create a network, right? So suppose for example, so how I will give the addresses 10.0.0.0 slash 16. This notation is called as CIDR ranges, which means classless interdomain range. Classless interdomain range. So what do you mean by classless interdomain range? So here I am giving that IP addresses um, uh, range of the IP addresses which I want um, to be assigned for this VPC, right? This is the whole VPC, and I'm giving the size of the VPC as 65,535 IP should be there in the VPC. And how I am giving those IP addresses, I can denote like this with the classless interdomain range, where I'm giving it as 10.0.0.0 slash 16. So how it was being decided, that 10.0.0.0 slash 16. So classless interdomain range, how I will get 65,535 IP addresses. So after slash, what was the number? After slash, the number is 16. So what you need to do is 2 power. So I'll use a cap symbol. Mm, so 2 power 32 minus 16, which means 2 power 16, which means 65,535 IP addresses. So if I create a VPC and I am giving the classless interdomain range of that VPC, that means number of IP addresses as 10.0.0.0 slash 16. So that means I am creating a VPC with 65,535 IP addresses. I want everyone to understand like this. So suppose now this VPC size is 65,535. So a huge network was created, and I don't want the entire network to be managed as a single network. I want to divide that network into small things, so that I'll create two small networks inside this big network, which I can treat this as subnet 1. Also I can give this as subnet 2, where I want subnet 1 to be public. Similarly, I want subnet to be private. So one is public subnet, the other one is private subnet. So what you should understand here is, so this is the total network, so which is having 65,535 IP addresses, and inside that network I am going to divide the whole network into two parts. Again, one is subnet 1, subnet 2, not two parts. I created two small networks inside the big network. If needed, I can create subnet 3 also with the remaining number of IP addresses. So these subnets should also have some size, right? So what could be the size? How I can give the size here? Yes, I can give the size here like okay, 10.0.0.0, right? Can I give it like this? Yeah, no, just wait a second. Right. So I can give I can divide that big network into two small subnets. So I can give one subnet as 10.0.0.1.0 slash if I give 24, what do you mean by 24? So 24 means again it is like 2 power 32 minus 24, which means 2 power 8. So which is 255 IP addresses. Similarly, I'll create another network. So in the other network also, I'll create IP address CAD with the CADR range 10.0.1.0 is completed, right? So 1.0 with 1.0 initiating I have created in subnet 1. So how with what range I can create the subnet 2? Can I say like 10.0.1.1/24? No, you cannot say, because 1.0, 1.1 and until 255. That means 10.0.1.0, 10.0.1.1, 10.0.1.2 and so on 10.0.1.255, right? So those many IP addresses were assigned to subnet 1. Now 255, you know the range, right? 250, total 256 addresses, 2 power 8 here is 256 addresses. So other than this, how I can create here? How I can create? So I can say something like I can say something like 10.0.2.0 I can give slash 24, so that the next range of IP addresses will be the next IP address will be 10.0.2.1, 10.0.2.2, like that. 10.0. How much will be the size again? 2 power 32 minus 24, which means again 2 power 8, so which is 256. I have written 255 here, but 256. So right, if you start from 0, it will be 255. So 10.0.2.0, 10.0.2.1 and so on 10.0.2.255. So total 256 IP addresses were given to subnet 1 and 256 to subnet 2, right? So how many are remaining now? Out of 65,535, 65,535, I have used 255 for subnet 1. I have used 255 for subnet 2. So total, sorry, 256 and 256. Total 512 IP addresses I have used from the whole network, and I am creating two small subnets. So why should I create a subnet here? Suppose I am going to create a virtual machine. Next, I want to create a machine with some Windows or Linux operating system on the cloud for my own purpose. So that machine, where it can be created, I can choose this VPC. I can choose a subnet inside the VPC. Inside the subnet, I will create the virtual machine. So one of the IP addresses out of this 255, one of the IP addresses will be given to my virtual machine. Okay. So which we are going to create for ourselves. Similarly, I create a container. I create a database. I create some. So for everything, okay, I need a workspace where I can create my own resources on the cloud. So virtual private cloud is this thing. So I want you to understand virtual private cloud. You should understand it as a network created for yourself to create the resources uh, which you will create for your own work to get done. Next, that network should be understood with the size of the IP addresses, which you will use CADR ranges, classless interdomain range, which you will give like this. And after slash, what was the number? That number should be detected from 2 power 32 minus that number. So 2 power 32 is 2 power 32 minus 16. So 2 power 16, which is this. This is the maximum size I can create a VPC. Okay, so maximum size. So can I create my VPC with the less number? Yes, you can create. So less number means what you can should give after slash 16 is the highest number. 17 will be much less, 18 will be much less. So that from 32, if the number is 20, 32 minus 20 after slash 32 minus, if instead of 16 there is 20, so what you should do, see, 2 power 32 minus 20, which is 2 power 12, which is less than 65 535. Okay, so in this case, it depends on how many IP addresses you need totally for your VPC. And inside VPC again, if you want to divide the entire network into subnets, how many subnets you can create inside that VPC. And for each subnet you can decide which one is public, which one is private. And this is interesting: public IP address and private IP addresses. So what do you mean by public IP address? Suppose, so for this VPC, uh, so this is a cloud environment, right? And I am sitting somewhere here with my laptop. I am sitting somewhere here, in another geographical location, and I am connected to internet. And internet through internet, so in my PC, from my PC I have connected to internet. uh, this is internet, and I want to access this machine from my PC. From my PC I want to access the machine which I created in a cloud. I created in cloud and I hosted some website there on the cloud. Now I want to access this machine. So what I have done, from my PC I connected to the internet. From the internet access I want to access a machine which was created in this subnet. So what I need to do? So this VPC must get connected with the internet, right? So for someone to access this thing, now what is required here? Here I require some entry point. So what is the entry point here? The entry point would be internet internet gateway, right? So this is the internet gateway acts as an entry point, and from here I should be able to getting access to this public subnet since it is public. And in the public subnet there is a VM which I can access. So this VM will get a public IP address through which I'll get a connection to the outside world. Now coming to this one, it is a private subnet. So this private subnet will not have any access directly from the internet gateway. It will not have any access. So to access something in the private subnet, what you need to do? First, you need to get connected with public subnet, and public subnet has some access to its private subnet. From the machine in the public subnet, I can access to the machine in the private subnet. So directly from through internet, you cannot go to through internet gateway and directly access this. So the connection will be denied here. So it is not possible here to access the private subnet. So these are the basic things I want you to understand. And some terminology like route tables. What do you mean by route table? So from the internet gateway, and how the connections must be established, how the connection should be formed. So everything, those details will be mentioned in the route table. So um, route table is one important thing while learning this VPC concept. So it decides how traffic flows between the subnets, the internet gateway, and all. Okay, so you know about classless interdomain ranges, subnets, route tables, internet gateway, and one more thing like NAT gateway. Okay, it allows private subnet instances. So it NAT gateway allows connection to the private subnet instances. So I hope you understood. So NAT gateway will be somewhere here. So this NAT gateway allows connection to the private subnet. So NAT gateway must be created where? In public. so that someone who wants to access in private first gets connected to the public subnet and one instance in public subnet, and from there through NAT gateway, if he has access, he can go get connected to the private instances. Okay, and regarding security, you will have security groups to get created, network access control list will be there. So these are the basic things. So what I told till now, I hope you'll have an idea and how it looks like, how it looks like. So I can show you something like this. So it looks like this, right? So a virtual private cloud and two subnets, an ad gateway. Okay, we'll talk about the servers later. In public subnet, anyone can access through internet and which can pass through internet gateway. You can get a connection here to public subnet, but private subnet you cannot get from outside the access. Okay, so with this basic introduction, we can go to the exercise here, how to create um, a VPC. So I'm going to sign in. With my so MFA I'm entering for my mobile. So I faced an issue with the MFA. So it took some time. Right, I logged into my console. So I want to create a VPC, right? So go to a service called VPC directly. You can see the topics which we discussed now, the VPC, subnets, route tables, internet gateways, right, network access control list, security groups, okay, all these things. So here you can see how many VPCs are there. Already there is one VPC. So there will be a default VPC that will be created by AWS, and other than that there are no other VPC, so I am going to create VPC here. So it is asking like you want to create only VPC or you want to create more with VPC. So like how do you want to create subnets and route tables also with VPC? Yes, I want to create subnets and route tables also. Otherwise I can select only VPC. So now I want to show you how to create subnets also. uh, so name and tag, I can give my own name. I can say I'll give my name, and I told you about the CIDR ranges. So by default, so how much it is 10.0.0.0/16, so which means 65,535 IP addresses, right? So do you want IPv6? No, I'm okay with IPv4. So how many availability zones I can? Okay, two are is okay for me. And how many public subnets? Two. And how many private subnets? Two. Okay. So I want to customize the subnet blocks. So totally by default they have given subnets like to 20.0.0.0/20. What do you mean by 20? So I should subtract 2 power 32 minus 20. How much? 2 power 12, which means 4096 IPs. I don't need those many. I can give 24 for public subnet 1, 24 for public subnet 2, 24. I have given 256. I want to create two, um, uh, right. So I have given 256 IPs as a range for all four subnets, and in which two are private and two are public. Okay, next, right. So with this, I'm going to give something. Okay, so create a VPC. So while creating VPC, we have uh, named the VPC, and also we created four subnets in which two are public and two are private, and we are associated with an internet gateway. We are associated with root tables which we can edit and change the details. So I'll go to view VPC. So you can see this is a VPC. What are the subnets that were created and what are the root tables that were attached with, and the network connections, that means internet gateway. You can see IGW, which means internet gateway, right? So you can see the flow diagram here. So how they were connected with. So this subnet is connected to the route table Raviteja KV RTB public. This one private. Again this one RTB public. Okay, you understood, right? So so the flow diagram shows so which subnet is connected to which route table. So what are the CADR ranges? Total IPv4 was given, sorry, total VPC was given these many IP addresses, but you did not, if you want to mention, okay, in details, I did the CADRs. So these are the, this is the range. So if I want to add, I can add the CADR ranges. Okay. So I told this is a default VPC is there, and there is a manually created VPC. Okay. So I hope you understood. Now if you go to subnets, click on each subnet. Okay, in the first subnet which was available, subnet ID was given, right? So you can see the name of the subnet. Have you given any name of the subnet? No, right? So I can create a subnet here. So how many subnets I can create? Two public and two private by default, right? This is a default subnet which was already created by AWS. I can select the VPC here. Okay, next. So what is the subnet name I can give? Like yes, one as my subnet name. Hmm, I can select the availability zone, anything. Okay, so IPv4 CI total CIDR block is 65,535. This will be shown to you because this is the maximum addresses. There is no rule like I can give slash 16. Okay, so suppose think like I am giving 10.0.0.0 slash 16. It will say no. It will say like you cannot create like this. Okay, because total IP addresses are 65,535. So how many you can create for a single subnet? Below than that, right? So just click on create subnet. What it will do, it will show you an error. Okay, why it is showing an error? Because total addresses are 65,535 and you are trying to give the entire IP addresses to the single subnet. Okay, so minimum you should leave. How many you should leave? You can leave at least 16 IP addresses and you can give. But I need only 256 IP addresses for my subnet. So what I should give here 10.0.1.0 slash 24. This is okay because only 24 IP addresses I am going to ask to create a subnet. You can see a subnet is created here. Next create another subnet. Okay, so select the VPC again, create another subnet, name it as S2. Okay, now give the range 0.2.0 slash 24. This will be also okay. Why? Because it is also only 255 IP addresses. So I hope the subnets which were created here are 255. Okay, now you can see the total number of subnets. So S1 is one subnet which you created freshly, S2 is another subnet, and you can see these are the subnets which we created while you are creating a VPC. Directly while you are creating VPC, you created these subnets, two public and two private. And now after creating VPC also with the remaining IP addresses S1 and S2 you have created. I hope you understood, right? Next. Now, for a subnet, suppose take S1. For a subnet, I want to mention how the network flows, right? So, if I select a subnet, you can see the subnet ID here, IPv4 addresses. Uh, ARN means Amazon resource number, all these things you can see. And you can see here, available IPv4 addresses are 251, but you created 256 IP addresses and remaining 5 IP addresses, what happened to them is they were being used by the AWS. Okay, five for its own AWS will keep 5 IP addresses. So for the small subnet 251 are available now, and if you are creating any machine like any EC2 machine, virtual machine, in the subnet one of the 251 IP addresses will be assigned to that machine. Now coming to the topic, route table. I want to know, right? I want to know how the route table behaves. Okay, so go to route tables. So this is the default route table which was there. Okay, so I want to create a route table. I'll give R1 as a route table. Select VPC, for which VPC you are going to create a route table. Yes, I want to create a route table for the VPC which I have created. Now I'll create subnet associations. Okay. Mm, are you having any subnet association? No. Available subnets are this one. Right. I can click on save associations. Right. Next. Right. I hope so. So these are the associations now. Okay, so in the root table, I can take on roots. You can click on edit roots. You can click on add root. Okay. So how to add root? What do you mean by this? So I want to establish a route from where I can get a data or who can access, who can get connected. So 0.0.0.0 slash 0, which means can anyone can send or anyone can get connected through the internet gateway which is already there. Okay, you can see the internet gateway. Raviteja KV is the internet gateway, right? Which was defaultly created for my VPC. So like this. So that means what, anyone edit routes, anyone can get connected. Okay, and save changes. Understood? This is how you create a route table. You can see anyone. All zeros means anyone. There is no restriction. In that place, I can give a specific IP address only, so that only those people can get connected. Okay, right. Uh, Suppose this is the public subnet route tables. You can see the route was created. We all have also associated with S2, right? Here also it was created. Okay, so okay. Now what I told you is what about this private subnet? So you can see here is one private subnet. So you can see a private subnet cannot be accessed by anyone, right? It can be accessed through a machine. If you get connected to a machine in public subnet, from that machine you can get access to the private subnet. You cannot give associations like these public subnets. Okay, like anyone can access from outside. Okay, so you know how to create a VPC now. Inside VPC, while creating VPC itself, you can display, you can create subnets like how I created these four. Right, next, even after creating the subnets, while you are creating the VPC, still if there is size and I want to create more subnets, I can create like this S1 and S2. Next, how to create the route table, so which describes the flow of the connections. Next, internet gateway, which I already created while creating this VPC, the internet gateway, right? And specific addresses were. So that's all. This is about VPC. In the next video, as I told you, so you have created the VPC, you created the subnets. Next, in these subnets, you were given some range of IP addresses, and I will select a public subnet like S1. Here I will create a VM instance where I can access through my PC. So this will be shown in your upcoming video. So uh, which will be the third exercise. Sorry, so launch EC2 machine and deploy an application on EC2 machine. Thank you.